combination with all of these tips can really change your life. It has changed my life. It has helped me get through the toughest times of my life.
I don't care long as you here by 10:30, no later than drop them draws. Be what I want.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be giving you 10 tips on how I healed from my past traumas. So guys, we're going to be real in this video. I'm basically going to expose myself, tell you guys all my biggest, darkest secrets, and then in hopes that you guys could get something from it and then use it to change your life and use it to make your life a better and more positive experience. The first thing that I did when trying to better my life and heal from my traumas was I cut off all situationships, all sneaky links, all situationships. I cut off all the dead weight. When you're holding on to dead weight, it's just going to hold you back. I was dealing with people that I didn't necessarily want to be with, or I knew I couldn't see myself with, or we didn't necessarily get along. There was past hurt and past distrust, and I was still holding on to these things because I just wanted to be around them and I loved them or I cared about them very strongly. But little did I know that that was holding me back. It cuts you off from being able to open up new doors for new people and new experiences in life. So number one, cut off situationships. Tip number two kind of goes off with tip number one, which is cut off all dead and bad friendships. People, a lot of times your environment is also a key reason of why you're not healing from that trauma, because you're keeping people around you that kind of remind you of that trauma, or that you have a connection with over trauma, or that are doing things in a negative way that you relate to. So once you cut off those people and kind of change up your environment, it really makes your new life a better experience because you're not reminded of all the bad habits that you have. It's easier to create new habits with new people than to try to change your old habits with old people, if that makes sense. And me personally, this was very hard for me because I'm one person who I like to hold on to my old friendships, like to hold on to my old relationships. I don't like to let go. That's part of my trauma of keeping myself in this cycle of disappointment, this cycle of negativity, this cycle of tragedy, and you don't really realize it, but you're kind of self-destructing yourself. You're self-destructing. All right, so that's tip number two. Tip number three, ignore my missing nails, get it out now. Tip number three would be to limit your alcohol use. Now, I went through a whole phase in 2021 during the pandemic where I drank a lot. I was home all the time, I was bored, and I was around people who partied all the time. So I was always partying, always going out, or even staying in my house and inviting them over and drinking with them and smoking with them. And that really wasn't a good thing because when I would get drunk or drink, I would get very sad and just talk about my hurt, talk about my trauma, talk about things that really didn't need to be talked about. And then I didn't even realize that this was happening until I really got out of that situation and away from those people. And then I realized, hey, I was really sad. Well, why was I really sad? I was really sad because I was constantly reliving those traumas over and 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 over. I was getting drunk and not letting it go. Big thing, a big tip for me. It doesn't have to be permanent. Of course, you can have a drink here and there, but limit your alcohol use so that way you can really have a sober mind and focus on your new mind, creating your new life. Along with drinking, a lot of you aren't going to like this, is I also cut out smoking. I was a heavy smoker. I smoked weed all the time, every day, before work, after work, during work. Like, I was one of those people who had to smoke everywhere I went. Everything I did, I had to smoke. I'd say last year in June, I was like, okay, I'm tired of always smoking. I'm spending too much money on this. This is getting too out of hand. I'm drinking too much. It's too much for me. So therefore, I went on a fast. I started running every day, and that really helped me quit smoking marijuana. I did lose a lot of weight because I wasn't constantly getting the munchies and eating, which really helped my self-esteem. It really helped get my health back in order. and really got me back into the motions. That was really the beginning of my healing phase. Cutting out the drinking, or limiting the drinking, and cutting out the smoking. I completely don't smoke anymore. Once I stopped smoking, I realized that it increased my anxiety, and the chase to get the weed or whatever really provided more anxiety than it did at ease at a point. Like, okay, here and there is cool, but if you're doing it all day, every day, that creates anxiety, especially for people who are on antidepressants or who are on medications or who have a history of mental illness. It kind of enhances your features of your mental illness without you even realizing it. Well, that would be tip number 3. All right, on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be this is subjective. This is subjective. What worked for me is that I got on the proper medication. I didn't realize that I was on a medication because I was with the previous therapist and psychiatrist who kind of just pushed any type of medication on me. They just kind of threw me stuff and see if it was stuck. And so the cycle of that created a lot of worsening symptoms for me. So once I finally got on a new medication that was given to me by somebody who actually studied me, who studied my symptoms for a period of time properly, my anxiety was much lower. My depression was way lower. My PTSD was way lower. Getting on the proper medication definitely helps you a lot when it comes to your mental health and healing your trauma, because once you're out of that fight or flight mode, it makes it easier to make better decisions. It makes it easier to accept the past. And it makes it easier to just kind of focus on your new life. Tip number 5 also goes with hand in hand with number 4, which is getting into therapy. Now, I've been in therapy since maybe 16. I'm 24 now. And I really didn't have a good therapist. I really just had someone who was just kind of listening to me, letting me talk, letting me vent. But they weren't really giving me instructions on where to go. Okay, you need to take this route. This is what's recommended. You can take your own route, but this is the way a licensed doctor is telling me to go. And I followed their advice, and I've been making the best decisions of my life. My therapist was extremely cool. I wish that I could invite her over my house. I wish that she's like my best friend. I know I pay for her services, but she's literally like my best friend. I got a friend dumping my problems onto my friends and telling them all my deepest, darkest secrets. I keep it very personal. I have a personal life that I'm entitled to, and I have someone that's willing to listen to me and give me the best advice from a clear space, an unbiased space. So getting into therapy is very, very beneficial, and I highly 10 out of 10 recommend it. Even if you're against it and you don't think that there's anything that you can get out of therapy, there's always something that you can get, and there's always something that you can change. You just have to want to do it, and you have to do the work. Tip number 6 is going to be incorporating self-care. Now, I'm 24 years old, okay? I didn't really even notice that I had no self-care. I had no self-care. I mean, I would do my hair here and there, or my nails here and there, but I wasn't, okay, I have a regimen where, okay, I'm feeling down, this is what I'm going to do. This is what's the action and plan. So, for example, tips that I can give to you would be getting your nails done, getting your hair done. If you can't afford that, do a facial. Get a facial, dollar store facial, put a face mask on. Put some press-on nails on. Make sure that you're keeping up with your hygiene. Make sure that you're showering every day. Make sure that you are pampering yourself, getting lotions that you want, getting smell goods that you want. Whatever that is to you, self-care. Self-care can also be taking a walk in the park, taking a walk with your dog, going and taking a drive, going and having meditation sessions. You can also even join a yoga class. You can join a cycling class. You can do endless amounts of self-care. A lot of people choose working out as a self-care. I personally used to work out. I don't work out anymore. That's not part of my regimen, but kudos to you if that's what you want to do. But the main topic that I'm trying to get across is that figure out what works for you and what makes you feel good. And that is part of your self-care. I know also what helps me with self-care is cooking. I love to cook. I like to get off of work, go to the grocery store, get everything I need, come home, and cook me a nice meal. It's very relaxing to me. It's very therapeutic. So That's also another tip that you can use for self-care if you guys are looking for some ideas. Next, a very, 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 very important tip that I would incorporate, or that I think that everyone should be able to do, is every morning and every night before I go to bed, I listen to motivational speakers. I like Eric Thomas. He's the #1 motivational speaker in the world. I like Will Smith. I listen to 50 Cent. I love Tupac. That's my husband. Watch out. And several other motivational speakers that I know that I listen to, that just words of wisdom, words of positivity, words of hopefulness that will get you through hard times. And then eventually, after listening to them over and over and over and over and over again, that gets embedded in your brain. So when those negative thoughts come and that your inner child starts to come out, instinctively, that's going to get cut. Because you already you're reprogramming your mind. Like, I've reprogrammed my mind. When those thoughts come, a positive quote will combat that. Positive saying that I heard will combat that. It really opened up my life into a new way of being. It opened up my life into a new way of seeing the world. And once you can control your mind and the way that you think, you are unstoppable. Guys, so I kind of forgot what number we're on, but the second to last is going to be, make sure that you keep your areas clean. Now, I'm a very messy person. I'm not a dirty person, let's be clear. I have, when I get dressed, I leave clothes. I get very messy. I work on trying to keep my areas clean, keep my common areas clean, make sure that I'm being tidy, and every day I'm working towards making sure that my areas are clean, because when my areas are clean, my mind is also clean. It's easier to think more positive when my areas are looking nice and neat. I rearranged my room, I upgraded my room, got a new bed set, lights in here. So that way, when I come in my room, this is my peace zone. I have peace, all BS is out the door. That really made a difference in me wanting to be in my home and wanting to be in my room, and taking my space as a Zen type of area, like a Zen space. Everybody should have a spot where they have peace. And if you can't do that at your house, maybe your car. Your car could be your safe place, your seat, your peace place, where you go and meditate, you go and listen to music, really just vibe out. Next tip is going to be, if you can, it depends on your living situation, if you can have a therapy dog. I've had Chanel, my favorite dog in the world. She's 5 years old. She's a Rottweiler, and I've had her since she was 6 weeks old. She's my registered therapy dog. She is the most perfect dog in the entire world, and she really calms down my PTSD, especially at night. She sleeps with me. She knows when I'm getting upset. She knows when I'm not right, and she just comes and comforts me and does her job. She really provides a positive essence in my house. She's very funny. She's very cute. And she's very clingy to me, so it always gives me a sense of companionship. If I'm feeling lonely, it gives me a sense of motivation to get out of bed, because I have to get up and feed her and let her out. So it's like a force kind of to keep my life moving forward. I have to walk her, I have to bathe her, I have to tend to her, and I love her. I love my dog. I talk about my dog all day, and I'm going to include a clip of my dog. My dog means the world to me, and I had a few problems with my apartment because she's a big dog and they don't allow big dogs, but through my state, you have to allow it if it's a therapy dog and she's registered. So get your dog registered. You can do it online, and you'll have a forever puppy friend. This is a bonus tip that I just thought of, and it's really important too. I have a Spotify playlist that I created where when I feel down, or I feel down in the dumps, and I don't want to get out of bed, and I feel depressed, or I feel overwhelmed, and I feel like I want to give up, or I don't want to do this anymore, I put on a certain playlist. I have two. I have one that has a lot of aggressive music, and the aggressive music gives me the fight. You know, that fight that you need to get up. All right, I'm taking it on. I'm not going to let this win. I'm building up the momentum. I have one playlist for that. My second playlist is more so calming me down when I'm overstimulated. It has a lot of SZA, Summer Walker, listen to that were very comforting, or a lot of songs that really make me feel good, or give me a positive memory in the back of my head. All those things, those are all tools that can help shift your mood. Dream, never stop dreaming. You can get whatever you want. You can feel however you want. And hard times don't last forever. It just takes patience and it takes hard work. This is the end of my video. I've ranted long enough. So if you haven't already, leave me a comment down below. Or you can like and subscribe to see my next video. Have a good night.